Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make raya on your weaving. And so the first thing I want to do is figure out what color yarn I'm going to work with. And so I have chosen this kind of variegated blue color. I'm going to attempt to find the end of it. Whoops, that's not the end. It's a little bit messy because of how it was in my bag. So here is the end. And as I'm pulling this, I want to be really careful so that I don't knot it up, because if I get a knot, I have to undo the knot. Now I'm going to start with this right at the bottom of my loom, and I'm just going to wrap it around my loom a few times. Okay, that's enough. Now I'm going to trim it right here. Set my yarn aside. The next thing I'm going to do, very carefully, I'm going to grab onto that yarn that I just put on my loom, and I'm going to put my scissors underneath of it and slide to the end and slice it off the loom. Do not cut your warp strings. If you cut your warp strings, you will be starting your project completely over. So do not cut your warp strings. Now I've got all of this yarn. I'm going to fold it in half and cut it right in half now. So I've got all of these little pieces which will become our raya. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to begin with taking just one at a time, and I'll demonstrate with one, and then I will show you how to do more than one. All right, so I'm going to start on my loom. I'm going to start to the far left. I have already beat my weft string tighter from my last week. I'm going to begin by laying it on top and coming up and through. Oh, and on top, up and through. And then I can pull it tightly like this. Okay, once I have that, I'm going to go on to my next two strings. Lay it over the top, come up through the center on the right one, come down and up through the center on the left one, and pull it up. Now I'm going to go to the next two, lay it on top, come around and up through the middle on the right one, and around and up through on the left one, and pull it up. I'll try one more. Lay it on top, come around and up through the middle, come around and up through the middle, and pull it up. Now, for sake of time, I'm not going to go all the way across, but you'll see I now have 4 raya strings put on here. My next row, I'm not going to use the same strings. I'm going to take these 2 strings now, put it on top, come around and up, come around and up, pull it up. This one is right here. Put it on top, around and up, around and up. You get the idea? The next 2, lay it on top, go around and up through, and then around and up through. All right, so you could continue like that, back and forth over the entire thing, but that's going to take a really long time. So what I would encourage you to do, instead of doing 1 string at a time, let's speed it up a little bit. Use 2 at a time, okay? So now I'm ready for my 3rd row. I'm going to start back over here again, take these 2, go around and up through the middle, around that left string and up through the middle, and pull it up. So those are much thicker now and more fuller. there's one, there's two. Next two strings right here. Around and up through, around and up through. I'll pull them nice and tight, and you'll continue pulling these nice and tight as you go. Pull them up so that your weaving continues to take good form. So your next two would be these two, around and up through, around, and make sure you do both of them, and up through. Okay, and you would continue back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for quite some time. When you get enough of your raya in, you can begin to trim it. And so this raya that I put up here is really, really long. And so I might decide to come in here and start to trim some of this shorter, because I don't like how long it is. And I can trim it however long I want it to be. Kind of brings back memories of when I was little and I cut my dolly's hair and my mother got so upset. I won't get upset at you if you trim your raya, so you feel free to trim that raya, okay? So you can make it shorter if you'd like. This raya only went halfway across, but this one I'm going to continue all the way across because I want to create a balanced design with my whole weaving. And if I only put raya on the left-hand side of my weaving, it's not going to be balanced by the time it's all the way done, okay? So you'll continue back and forth with your raya, and you want to weave as much of yarn, put as much raya in there as you have yarn. Okay, and then we'll kind of gather again and see what your progress looks like, and we'll continue from there.